A breathtaking 1,000 feet above sea level, where the elements collide. In an area of outstanding natural beauty. This land, our land, embodies nature, and our methods respect it. We use clean energy, solar, hydro, wind, to bring you the cleanest water. Every drop, sustainably sourced from pristine Cornish farmland. From the raw beauty of rainfall to our state-of-the-art bottling facility, situated on an ancient underground lake. We're reminded of the timeless power of pure water. But it doesn't stop here. The secret of cure lies in the pure oxygen we so carefully infuse. To breathe life into every bottle of pure water, without chemicals or additives. Cure pushes the boundaries of what water can do, uniting life's most essential ingredients: water and oxygen. The next generation of hydration. Pure oxygen, nature's ultimate water.
Good evening and welcome to Breaking Barriers here on IBN Channel 8. Of course, it's a pleasure being in your company. And of course, it is a wonderful Wednesday evening. And I know many of you are reeling under this heat these days, but it compares nothing with the heat that we are getting with criminal activity on the ground. Of course, I'm Inchan Ishmael, your host, and I'm here every single Wednesday evening, and it's a pleasure being in your company. And for those of you who are joining me for the first time, this program has been on air for how many years, Moody? 18 years, right? 18 years. And what happened is that we are proud to say that we have one of the largest viewing audiences on a Wednesday night. This program is viewed by everybody and anybody, from the men who do the wonderful job of taking our garbage, to the doubles men, to the vendors on the outside, to the businessmen, of course, to judges, lawyers, doctors, etc., etc. So we have quite a large following, and I thank you so much for tuning in. Of course, I want to spend a few minutes to discuss something that I need to, because I have always said that this station, when my father and mother passed away, one of the things that I was afforded the opportunity of was to actually have a TV station. And my mother passed away after it was born, a few years afterwards. And what happened is that it is something that holds me to Trinidad and Tobago. If it were not for this TV station, I may have been in some other country, because this is what ties me down here. And this, firstly, this was to be used as a conduit to help my community and the wider community. And of course, you know that 90% of what I do here is lectures, etc., and what we call dawah to the Muslim community. So it would be remiss of me, and I think it would be hypocritical of me, to not speak about what I'm about to speak about. Because quite frankly, I have always been one to speak up about things happening here and worldwide, and I really need to address this issue. When I heard that there was an attack on Israel by Hamas, I said to myself, I said no, because I know what was going to happen. But then I told myself, I said, but wait now. Israel is supposed to be one of the world leaders in technology. Israel is supposed to be one of the brainchild in terms of the best equipment for world wars, in terms of the missile technology and the radar technology and the etc., etc. And when I heard that men with paragliders and men with pickup trucks break through a barrier, I said to myself, this stinks and it smells like a setup. Or it was concocted in the minds of people who are sick in their head. And I say this to the people who are watching right now, that many of you don't understand, because I saw it on some of the comments where people were saying some nasty and disgusting things that Muslims should dead and a whole set of drama. But many of you have not researched the facts. And this picture, I want to show you this picture. This is Palestine, right? In 1946, Palestine did not even, Israel did not even exist. And in 1947, right, when they had their, basically at that point in time when you had countries taking over and doing what they wanted to do, Israel received a chunk, right? Israel received a chunk. And then all of a sudden, Palestine started to get smaller and smaller. The green represented the Palestinian land. And I want you to put yourself, this was Trinidad, and the Venezuelans came in, and they did what the Israelis did. How would you feel? Because this is factual data. This was shown on MSNBC, which is American media, which normally toes the line of Israel, because at the end of the day, Israel is their boy toy in that part of the region, in the Middle East. So the fact is that what is taking place is that for years, children were murdered. For years, women were raped. For years, fathers were gunned down while going to work. And these people will answer back with stone, and they will answer back, maybe some of them, and I don't approve of people strapping bombs to themselves and killing other people. My religion teaches me that even in the time of war, you cannot even harm a tree. And you are supposed to treat your prisoners with respect. And when you look at what has transpired there for years, for 70-something years, people are going to lash back. People are going to say enough is enough. And at the end of the day, sadly, lives are going to be lost. And I am just praying for the day when both sides, so that there can be no loss of lives, when Israel and Palestine could sit down together and to come up with an agreement. Because when you hear, and I want you to listen, this is a video from the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. Guys, you have that video prepped? Right? This is a video where he spoke out. Listen to this. Go ahead.
War. We didn't want this war. It was forced upon us in the most brutal and savage way. But though Israel didn't start this war, Israel will finish it. Once the Jewish people were stateless. Once the Jewish people were defenseless. No longer. Hamas will understand that by attacking us, they've made a mistake of historic proportions. We will exact a price that will be remembered by them and Israel's other enemies for decades to come. The savage attacks that Hamas perpetrated against innocent Israelis are mind-boggling, slaughtering families in their homes, massacring hundreds of young people at an outdoor festival, kidnapping scores of women, children, and elderly, even Holocaust survivors. Hamas terrorists bound, burned, and executed children. They are savages. Hamas is ISIS. And just as the forces of civilizations united to defeat ISIS, The forces of civilization must support Israel in defeating Hamas. I want to thank President Biden for his unequivocal support. I want to thank leaders across the world who are standing with Israel today. I want to thank the people and Congress of the United States of America. In fighting Hamas, Israel is not only fighting for its own people, it is fighting for every country that stands against barbarism. Israel will...
What is hypocritical is this man talking about barbarism. For decades, children were murdered. Bombs were dropped on the heads of people by the beach. People, while praying in Masjid al-Aqsa, were tear gassed and kicked and cuffed. Women were dragged on the streets by their hijab and their hijab pulled off. And for years, decades, imagine you cannot live in your own home and in your own town. You were kicked out and strangers were put into your homes. And this went on for decades and still going on. But because the media, and I don't blame the US for this, because let me tell you why. The US has Israel as a strategic ally, meaning that that is their partner in that part of the region. And without Israel, really and truly, you don't have much strength. So the fact is that in that area, you need them. And if you have to empower them by giving them billions of dollars and weaponry and all that, that is what they're doing. But the sad reality is that the world has largely ignored women being murdered for decades, children for being slaughtered, right? And talking about beheading, children were beheaded. So the fact is that it was something that the world essentially ignored. And I always say that for me, I am not a hypocrite. And my religion teaches me that when one part of the body hurts, the entire body hurts. And we should stand up and stand against brutality. And we should stand against brutality against the Israelis as well. Because the fact is that when you stand up for what is right, you cannot see innocent people be murdered. And if Hamas was responsible for murdering innocent children and women, then I disagree with that totally. I don't support that type of war. Fight those who fight you. You don't kill innocent people. You don't. And that is what the army is there for. But such is the madness. These are people who are desperate. These are people who have lost everything. I have seen videos enough to become numb where you see women carrying their dead husbands and children and etc., etc. Fathers doing the same thing. And I don't know when we as a people will wake up and understand that this serves no purpose. And when you have leaders like Benjamin Netanyahu and Narendra Modi and all these other mentally sick leaders, the world is going to continue to be what it is. And I pray for the day that that is going to change. But I want you to watch this video before we continue on the other side of things. Take a look at this video with the BBC.
How many times Israel have committed war crimes right live on your own cameras? Do you start by asking them to condemn themselves? Have you? You don't. You don't. No, I'll answer that question. You don't. You know why I refuse to answer this question? Because I refuse the premise of it. Because at the very heart of it is misrepresentation of the whole thing. Because it's the Palestinians that are always expected to condemn themselves. I mean, come on, this is a political conflict. We have been denied our rights for a long time. You bring us here whenever there are Israelis who are killed. Did you bring me here when many Palestinians in the West Bank, more than 200 over the last few months? Do you invite me when there is such Israeli provocations in Jerusalem and elsewhere? Because what Israelis have seen, which we started by saying tragic, the last 48 hours, the Palestinians see every day for the last 50 years. You know the situation in Gaza, you've just described it. This is the biggest open-air prison. Those people, 2 million, have been taken hostage by Israel for the last 16 years.
And this is the reality of it. This is where we're going, and I hope that one day, and I pray that one day, that the leaders that we have all over the world, especially in my community, I mean, I am shocked, I am aghast that not one single organization in Trinidad and Tobago has decided to write to the president or write to somebody in charge or to make our statement known, our feelings known. Not one organization. And I'm not going to knock anybody because I've decided that days for that long gone. But I'm appealing to those of you in various organizations, please come together. I am willing to. And let us put all our heads together to see how we could be part of the solution, not part of the problem. All right, so let's start the ball rolling, guys. I want you to take a look at this. Right, now, Justin, you know what I want you to get for me after this? Now, there's a little graphic image on this, just to let you know. Right, pause there. I want you to get the two documents that I sent you from the fire services. I want you to get that ready for me. While I sit at home and attempt to recover from partial thickness burns to my face, and I noticed that I said thickness, I pronounced the TH, my English teacher would be proud. I received, due to the lack of critical component of PPE breathing apparatus, the Minister of National Security uses the cover of Parliament to falsely, in other words, to lie that every station has its full complement of breathing apparatus. Now, this is someone who works in the fire service. The only thing worse than being injured in the line of duty and then forced to line up at the public institutions for assistance is the minister's false statement, which unfortunately means no meaningful relief can be expected. The lives and quality of life of both fire officers and the citizens they have sworn to protect are unfortunately put at further risk when efforts are focused on covering up critical shortcomings as opposed to dealing with them head on. And this is the gentleman here, Keon Guy. And this is the condition that he was left in because basically the apparatus that is required, the necessary apparatus, they were not provided with. Basically, he got burnt on his face, etc. Right? So what I want you to look at too as well, in February of this year, I requested through the Ministry of National Security questions to be answered through my attorney, Richard Jagisa. And some of those questions, they refused to answer. And only when I got my attorney, Richard Jagisa, involved, they provided some of that information last week. And I have a lot more questions that remain unanswered. But I want you to take a look at the reply that I received from the fire. The other one first. The other letter. Right, pull that up, please. Right, here we go. Right, send it down, and of course it's from my attorney, attention my attorney. Right, here it is. In relation to item 1 of your FOIA request, the breakdown of costs and suppliers for all fire equipment bought for the fire station and firefighting personnel for the period 2015 to April 2023, kindly be advised. Imagine I asked for a breakdown of the costs and the suppliers. And here's what the fire services said. Kindly be advised that the work involved in processing the information relative to this item will substantially and unreasonably divert the resources of the Trinidad Fire Service from its primary operations. So these idiots and them telling me that the same people who fight in fires is the same one to prepare this? And who is it that signed it? Is that the chief fire officer? No. Here what happened. This is where I don't, and I told Mr. Jagasa, go for the truth where this is concerned. But what you're going to like is the other sheet. Let's go to the other one. Right, and I want you to slowly take a look at this. This is a breakdown of some of the items that you're seeing there. Take a look, right? And boy, just bear with me 1 second while I just right, here we go. Justin, I'm just sending you something here. Right. Right, I just send you a number, right? That's for the call you have to make when I'm ready. Right. We spent $3 million in 904 fire hoses. Right? But you know what is interesting? Check this out. Zoom in to the 999,000. Take a look at that. Zoom in. We spent 999,000 on 20 wooden ladders. I don't want to see the ladder. The fire services do a video on the ladder. Take a look at the ladder that they bought for $50,000 each. Run the video.
10.5 meter double section wood ladder. This ladder is made up of one main ladder and one extending section. It is constructed from air-dried Douglas fir. Strings. Strings are tapered and of trussed construction. It is assembled with
That is $50,000. What you just saw there, that ladder, is $50,000. And here they are. Could I see, we have some images with some ladder prices. I think that, right, wooden double extension ladder, right? This one made with Douglas fir as well, 276 pounds. Right, let me go again. I think we substart one more. Pull it in. Right, go down. And what, this one have leg and headrest, right? And let me go down. Right. The most expensive one is $468. We have any more with that again? Or I think we hold it up there. But when you look at this, imagine that in Trinidad and Tobago, we have been ripped off so badly that they refuse, the fire services, the crooks and the conmen in the fire service refuse to show us who the supplier is. Show that one more time, if all you feel like joking. Right? Let's zoom in again. Zoom in. $999,000 for 20 ladders for the fire services. Let me go again. Service parts for chainsaw and portable pumps, $33,000. Let us go down to the last section now. We spent $14 million on tires. And one of the companies that supply the fire services tires supplies defective tires, because they also supply the TTPS, and we sent a letter telling the TTPS that some of the tires that are coming in are not original Bridgestone. We told the TTPS that brand new tires, defective tires being sold to the TTPS and fire services, and we reported the dealer, and the dealer know very well who he is, and we know who very well the dealer is, and the dealer continued to sell defective tires, because it only have one dealer to supply tires to the fire service. But I could tell you the dealer know when we found out that he was refusing to take our calls. But let us go back to that, because I have a call to make shortly. Right? So let us go back to that sheet, guys. Right. Go down. Batteries. 1,400,000 in batteries. Utility vehicles. They spent in utility vehicles, not fire appliances. The fire services spent $7 million in 7 or 8 years for utility vehicles, and $34 million in appliances. Now, what is interesting is that most of the tires they bought, what I was told is that the tires were not for the fire tenders. They were for the utility vehicles. For the, come back to me, guys. What the fire services officers does use to go and pick up the woman on the outside and to go and drop school children, that is what those tires were for. Crooks, conmen, skullmen, and they're refusing to answer. So we're going to jam them. Judicial review taking place. Let's make a call. Right? Many of you would have seen, let me just welcome Berberine to this segment. And of course, for those of you who aren't aware, right, if you are diabetic, or if you are approaching that stage, or if you want to stay away from that, then you just need to take twice a day, right? Berberine, and it's available at Pennywise right now. That's about the only place that have it, because everywhere else sold out. So make sure and get your stocks. And as for Berberine.
Hello?
Hi, good evening. Captain Gary Griffith, former Commissioner of Police. Inshan Ishmael here with you live on Breaking Barriers, sir. Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
First of all, I would like to thank you for taking my call this evening and, of course, for agreeing to come on board, especially with what is going on throughout the country. As you're well aware, and we had spoken a bit on this, number one, we have a serious issue with extortion in this country, and it is growing by leaps and bounds. We're in an area that never had an issue with extortion. All of a sudden, it's getting out of hand, and we had to have a meeting, emergency meeting, with businessmen in the Bamboo No. 2 area today. Tell me something, because under your tenure, I could remember there were 1 or 2 cases, and then all of a sudden, it disappeared. What did you do then that they are not doing now?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So good evening, Inshan, and to many viewers. What we did is simple, proactive policing. So we will get the information. Persons will obviously be very concerned of the possibility of reprisal. They will, because of the 482 Gary, they will contact me personally. I will get the information. And what you do is similar to what happens worldwide. We set up sting operations. So, for example, whether it is criminal elements trying to tell persons in the corporation you can't build bleachers in South Key because you have to pay us so that we would prevent it from happening. We will then take police officers, have them dressed as the workers trying to build the bleachers. We wait for them and we take their wicket. And we did it on several occasions. And because of that, the criminal elements realized, wait, we don't know who are actually the workers of the person we're trying to deal with the extortion from, or police officers. And it ended right there. And that is simply how it is done. To hear the police say that they're very concerned about it and you need to form a unit, and it's not required. It is just proactive policing, putting undercover officers every time the threat is made. So as soon as they come to the store and they're trying to demand the money, you'll have the police officers acting as cashiers or workers cleaning, sweeping, and then right there we do the camera footage. The video evidence is admissible in court now. You have the police officers there, and then you arrest the individuals. That put an end to that situation with extortion under my watch.
But, you know, extortion aside, what is happening is that there is not a day that I could open a newspaper or I could look at television and be shocked about something new. Yesterday, I saw the body of someone on the highway by Trinity Mall, a new body lying down on the ground, dead. I am seeing that the acting commissioner of prisons, right, the assistant commissioner of prisons, his driver being gunned down, thank God he's alive. And I see the national security minister saying that he is sorry. Have you accepted the man's apology, sir?
Well, it shows incompetence at the highest level. So let this be the first station for me to let it be known. When I was Minister of National Security, I realized that the criminal element had what would be known as the 5.56 and the 7.62 caliber weapons, automatic weapons, assault weapons, weapons that can fire 35 rounds in 3 seconds. Because of that, it meant that there was a clear and present danger to the heads of the protective services and definitely to the police officers who have to travel and patrol in volatile locations. As a minister, I requested we put armored vehicles to protect our police officers. The same day I did as Commissioner of Police. It was ignored, and guess what? So instead of providing armored vehicles for the heads of the protective services, because they are the ones whose lives are under threat, instead of giving it to the police officers when they have to go on patrol 2 o'clock in the morning in hotspot areas, instead they decided to continue to give the police sedans, because Keith Rowley says, why give the police a SUV? That's as ignorant as you could get. And now the politicians have the bulletproof vehicles. So they have bulletproof vehicles, several politicians, they have all the police security, so it's easy for them. But those armored vehicles that came in should have been there for the heads of the protective services, some equivalent to that deputy commissioner of prisons. But instead, the politicians want to get in their vehicles very comfortable, secured with their bulletproof armored vehicles, plus their police security, while the average citizen is suffering.
I know that the opposition leader had asked you to be part of the team to discuss crime initiatives with the government of Trinidad and Tobago. Are you part of that or no?
Well, it remains to be seen. It all has to do with political maturity. And sure, let me tell you, the last thing I want is for this country to continue to be washed in blood for another 17 months until the government changes. That's the reason I got back into politics, to be able to provide the requirements of the policies and the political will to transform Trinidad and Tobago and to secure Trinidad and Tobago. We can't continue. This government is totally clueless. When you listen to the budget presentation, they came with eight things. Every single thing is what I did as minister or commissioner, inclusive of his stupid comment about, well, we're going to give $80 million for police vehicles. And then you're not going to have proper preventative maintenance. This is the same minister that told me, do not give vehicles to be repaired in garages where the cost was over 50% less. 50% less than Vemcot. And Vemcot, when you give it to them, it costs more, plus it takes longer for you to be able to get the vehicles, which is why people will remember Gary Griffith. One of my biggest complaint people had is that they were seeing too many police vehicles, too many sirens, too many blue lights around the country. Because we had a proper preventative maintenance system, a certain individual who I knew, I'm not going to call his name, was giving me good advice as to the type of vehicles that we require, and the number of vehicles, and how to do preventative maintenance. And that played a very big part towards, when I was there, we were getting and it was strange enough, for 2 years I couldn't get one vehicle from the police, from the government, out of either pettiness, bad mind, or incompetence. They refused to give me funds to purchase vehicles. Yet still, the vehicles that I had, because of using private garages, we were able to get it at half the cost, plus be able to get it quickly, have it repaired. And now they've gone back to Vemcot, the price is astronomical, the vehicles are pulled up, they've gone back to the wrong vehicles. So as much as you put $80 million, we put in bad money into bad management.
Right, but one of the things I remember that you had done during your tenure was that we were one of the garages given approval to actually go into the graveyard and put vehicles together. In other words, take 10 Navaras, and out of that, we would bring back 5 from the dead. And that was one of the things that you did that no one else has done and apparently will not do.
Yeah, but and again, it is common sense. You see, when people look at the number of police vehicles, I work closely with NYPD and stuff. After 4 years, a police vehicle you need to get rid of it. Because the average vehicle, like you will use your vehicle insurance for about 2 to 4 hours a day. A police vehicle will be used for 20 hours a day. So if your average vehicle lifespan as a civilian, as a citizen, would we say, let's go 20 years if you want to, it means that for a police vehicle, after 4 years, the number of miles you will use in a police vehicle will be 5 times more than the average vehicle. So after 4 years, a police vehicle, trying to keep it is going to be a waste of time. The amount of money you're going to spend in maintenance of a vehicle. But we have police vehicles several years, and that's why I said, look, we got to cut our losses, and then start getting parts from those vehicles that you know you're going to spend more money in trying to bring back those vehicles so it'll last a few weeks, and then have to spend more money. And that is the type of proactive thinking we need. So to hear this minister speak about $80 million for vehicles, we have 1,700 vehicles in the police service. So you need at least 400 vehicles annually to acquire. But you also need preventative maintenance. That's what we were doing. We weren't waiting for the vehicle to shut down. As soon as we knew the vehicle needed that type of maintenance, that you have to do proper servicing, you don't wait for it to shut down. And that is what is happening right now, which is why we've gone back to the situation where stations have no vehicles, and a Minister of Finance, so arrogant, was directing a Commissioner of Police, do not send the vehicles back to private garages, send it to Vemcot, where the cost is higher and it takes longer for the vehicles to return.
Let me ask you one of the hardest questions that I will ever ask you. And it's a question that has been bothering me for quite a while, and many of the people who are on Facebook have asked a similar question. We know where the crime hotspots are, correct?
Correct, yes.
Why is it that no one has taken the initiative to completely lock down a crime hotspot? I'm talking about, you know what the areas are. Why it is so hard to go in and you carry the defense force and the police and lock down an entire area and search every single home, every single inch. Why has that never happened?
Well, it actually did happen. When I was Minister of National Security, a police officer was shot and I took the defense force that has never been used for the last 8 years by this government. So we have 5,000 soldiers and sailors just in camp waiting on standby. Standby equal, imagine 150 persons were walking down Frederick Street during COVID with weapons to destroy Port of Spain. And I had to use my SWAT officers and police officers to stop Port of Spain from being destroyed, whilst the defense was still were telling Stuart Young, we're on standby. We were talking about 3 times more people than in 1990 coup that was used to destroy Port of Spain, and they did nothing. So there are things that are just, it cannot be incompetence. It obviously has to be a deliberate attempt by those in authority to assist the criminal elements. Because that is what I did. When one police officer was shot, I took the defense force, and for 127 days, there was one murder in Laventille. Never happened before, and that was domestic violence. Because Laventille was locked down, and Laventille, they were pleased. They never felt so safe. So it could be done. Similar, there have been, because of me using the 482 Gary, the online reporting, the app reporting, all of the different systems to give a degree of confidentiality for citizens to come and say, this police officer is on the take, this police officer is controlling a drug block at the corner of so-and-so. When I got that information, I was transferring these officers because you can't arrest them because you don't have evidence, but it was enough for me to break down the drug den that was being held and protected by the few rogue elements in the police service. As soon as I left, dozens upon dozens of these same police officers were transferred back to the same location. So that cannot be incompetence. That has to be a deliberate objective by persons who hold high positions in this country that are sympathetic, if not supportive, of criminal elements.
Where do we go from here? Because no matter where you go, you're hearing the same sentiments being expressed by every single person, whether they are in business or not. Everyone is living in fear. How do we get out of this mess?
Well, in fact, like people like your good self, if you you try to have a massive rally or campaign, I believe that this time it is not going to have the impact like what we had. Remember the Keith Noel thing with Stephen Cadiz, with 100,000 plus persons downtown? This country has no longer reached that position. They are totally fearful of this government. They fear being intimidated, because even in the business sector, when it says that a commissioner of police had the country safe, locked down, and you saw the government blatantly operating like a police state and abusing their authority, few businessmen open their mouths because they love the state contracts, they love the government contracts. So people are fearful of saying anything because of their fear of losing good business. And the others, most of the country have given up. People are migrating. I am asking the country, Incheon, hold strain. That's why I offer my service for this government, that because I know you're incompetent, you do not know what to do, let me help you to do exactly what happened just 2 years ago, where crime was the number 4 concern behind health, education, and the economy. Public trust and confidence in the police was 55%, whereas in August 2018, it was 14%. It was probably gone back to 14%. And crime, it was the lowest number of crime since 17 years before. We could do this, but you take 100+ policy, shut it down, dismantle, remove, and by doing that, it's either based on political pettiness, as I said, or a deliberate attempt by persons in high office who have involvement with criminals. I ask the country to hold strain, understand that we can change this. This can change overnight, but it is not going to change with this incompetent, if not corrupt government that seems to have some degree of sympathy, if not affiliation with criminal elements.
I read a newspaper article where former Commissioner of Police Dwayne Gibbs stated that extortion is due in part to government contracts. And I had a difficulty understanding the correlation. I don't know if you could help me out, or if you understood what angle he was speaking from, because for him to say that, I was a bit confused. Maybe you could clarify?
Yeah, Dwayne Gibbs hit the nail on the head. He knew exactly what he was speaking about, and that is why certain officers in the police service wanted him out. Listen, Incheon, I actually, when Imbud refused to cut my budget by 300 million, and for 6 months of every fiscal year, Incheon Ishmael and hundreds of others would be harassing me for payments because they were providing good service and I can't pay them. It gave me the impression of, wait a minute, what is really going on here? So there were persons who wanted Dwayne Gibbs out because in the police service, because he was putting an end to a lot of criminal activity. I got the same thing, but because I was from this country, I was telling them where to get off. I would send some of them on 2 years leave because I realized what their intention was. So what Great Gates was speaking about was accurate. We have had this situation since 2007 when the Prime Minister referred to criminal elements and gang leaders as community leaders. And then they started giving them massive state contracts. We have been going through this for years. As the Commissioner of Police, I said it point blank that the government, listen, you will recall in the swearing ceremony, one of the biggest community leaders was there at President's house. That is the name of the game with the PNM, where they give out for a $500,000 box train to fix, you give out a gang leader $5 million. They do not use the funds to help the community. They use it to purchase more weapons,
Correct.
buy more drugs, sell more drugs, hire more gang members, and put hits on other gang members to get their state contracts. The government plays a big part that has caused the increase in criminal activity because most of the murders that take place is gang-related. So you give these gangs massive contracts, and then they're using it now to buy more weapons, more drugs, hire more people, probably use it now to pay off police officers and other persons in institutions in case they are arrested, cause people to turn a blind eye. It's a massive mess. So Dwayne Gibbs knew exactly what he was speaking about. I said it as the Commissioner of Police, which is why I intend to get back into government to put an end to this once and for all. If you play with filthy animals, you will get fleas. I wish all politicians could understand this.
Today I saw on the news where they found a large cache of arms and ammunition, and it came as no surprise because I am being told that the criminals by far outgun the police. But what I also remembered, and this is something that I think that you had touched on a while ago, the Minister of National Security had pointed out to the fact that there are over 150 points of entry, right? In other words, porous borders throughout Trinidad and Tobago. And I remember that clearly. And recently, even though he had mentioned that years ago, he said that they're looking to come up with, laws and this and that so that they could deal with the issue of the porous borders. How much does the porous borders contribute to criminal activity in Trinidad and Tobago?
Or very little. And again, it shows the incompetence of the government in understanding the real issue. When I met with the U.S. Embassy as Minister and as Commissioner, they confirmed that over 95% of the illegal weapons that enter our country come through the legitimate ports of entry. So all this nonsense with OPV talk and all of that, it is a few muskets and weapons in the 1960s that come from Venezuela through our illegal ports of entry. But the main issue, the weapons that you will be seeing come up from up north. It comes from Miami. It comes from the ports up there in North America that come down into Trinidad. So in Miami, every single thing is checked when it lands in Miami. But when things leave Miami, they don't care. It's because they're not going to check it. It is our responsibility. I got 2 mobile scanners and to check to confirm weapons in containers and vehicles. For 2 years, they pulled the plug. Trinidad and Tobago, this cannot be incompetence. This has to be a deliberate agenda to help criminals. Why would you shut down using mobile scanners that can help in pinpointing the illegal drug weapons? I drafted a policy for Keith Rowley for a border protection unit to ensure that we can lock down our borders by having representatives fully polygraphed, fully vetted, drug tested, inclusive of the best persons in the police, Army, Coast Guard, Customs, Immigration, Private Security, so one hand will watch the other. We lose 10 containers a year. Right? You know what I said? 10 containers go missing because that one night you have that one rogue customs officer, that one rogue stevedore, that one rogue driver, that one rogue watchman by the security booth. That container leaves, and that could have hundreds of weapons in that one night. So that is how you secure your borders, by putting a proper comprehensive system which they refuse to listen to or to understand. And then again, when it says we have the garment vessels, those vessels stayed there for 8 years. The government refused to use those vessels out of bad mind. 8 years later, in what is one of its 8 policies for national security in the budget, is saying that we are going to bring back the garment vessels that you refused to touch for 8 years. Trinidad and Tobago, this cannot be incompetence. This has to be a deliberate agenda to assist the criminal underworld in this country.
You spoke about the public confidence in the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, and you know how the public feels about the police and their confidence in the police service. How much does it impact the performance of police when it comes to the point that they don't have faith in their leadership? I mean, we spoke about the public not having confidence in the police, but when you have police officers, senior and junior, who don't have any faith at all in the leadership, how does that trickle down and how does that really affect the morale of the police service?
It could virtually destroy it, whether it's police, whether it's army, whether it's a business. Even if people do not have faith, confidence, and trust in the hierarchy, they're going to lose morale, motivation is going to go down, and that is where you're going to fail. During COVID, we did not have one police officer who was upset, not one police officer abused his authority. That, I think we were unique compared to all the other countries in the world that had those reports and abandonment of job, because morale was high, because we did a lot of research with the US, worked with NYPD, did customer service training, had the I support our service, got the business sector to believe in the police. Police officers started giving out tickets for persons adhering to the law. People started looking forward to police officers. They started pushing information on the online reporting, the app reporting, all of these things, by the way, which have been shut down based on incompetence or deliberate attempt. And by doing that, the police now, they felt energized. They stopped abusing their authority. They were seen everywhere. Now for the last a year, I asked anyone, have you ever seen one police officer trying to direct traffic? Have you ever, they're not even there. We had police officers every time there was traffic. We would see it on the screens. We would immediately send police now to try to clear the traffic. We would send police constantly everywhere we went, monitoring them, having the GPS on the vehicles to make sure that they don't go and take the vehicle to park up by their girlfriend for several hours. All of that now has gone back to how it was. So obviously morale will go down the window. There's a promotion situation that is going to come out shortly, where over 1,000 officers are totally demoralized because of decisions being made that is affecting their promotion. And this obviously will have an impact on the performance of the police service.
Where is that unit that used to accompany you all over, where, we would see, raids being made and there was this special unit and you would be there in your tactical gear, etc. Where is that unit right now? Have they gone asleep?
No, that unit has been shut down. It's comprised part of the Special Operation Response Team, highly trained individuals that put an end to kidnapping. It was the first time in our history that there were over 10 situations where persons were kidnapping individuals. Through technology, we will find out where they are, break down the door, intercept the car, arrest the kidnappers, rescue the victims. The kidnappers realize what the hell these people have the technology to realize that. We put an end to kidnapping. We put an end to home invasions through that same unit. Where you jump the wall, by the time you get back over, you will see a few moments later.
Yes,
people will be talking about they having firearms and what they intend to do. All of the few moments later and all of those things shut down. Because the government and the hierarchy of the police service, based on, again, I continue to say, it cannot be incompetent. It has to be a deliberate agenda. That operation response team, it had the most number of drugs seized, the most number of weapons seized, persons being rescued from human trafficking, major hits that were taking place, criminals being arrested en masse. And now you shut them down, they replace it with a new unit, and that unit, the NOTF, in the last 2 years, their biggest success has been to arrest an old lady who was selling school books on the pavement. That is what the police service has reached to. And it is no fault, by the way, of the thousands of good officers. They want to perform, but they are seeing political interference in the direction of the police service. The police service have 70 officers assigned specifically to go on a fishing expedition in the hope that they could find and arrest somebody as it pertains to legal firearms. After 2 years, not one senior officer, not one firearm holder, not one firearm dealer has been arrested for any type of corruption because it was a blatant lie. But almost 100% of the murders committed by firearms have been by illegal firearms, and not one police officer has been assigned specifically to deal with that. If this does not show that there is a deliberate attempt to support criminals at the hands of law-abiding citizens, I don't know what is.
Commissioner, as we end off, is there anything that you would like to say that I have not touched on or you have not touched on?
I just want to ask the country, please believe there's hope. We cannot be so caught up in the politics of whether you're ketchup or your mustard or your PNM till you're dead or your UNC till you're dead. You need to look for yourself and ascertain, is this government doing what is required for me? Is this government and the people there the best persons to prevent my wife from being raped, my daughter from being kidnapped, my son from being killed, my assets from being secured? They spend more time trying to prevent you from getting pepper spray, prevent you from having a firearm, and doing everything to assist in criminal elements having their way. Please, I ask Trinidad and Tobago, do what is right for you and for your country and not for your political party.
Former Commissioner Griffith, thank you so much for taking the time out. Greatly appreciated. All the best. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
And of course, you know, I don't, you know, one of the things that I could tell you about Gary, and I've known him for maybe about 20 years, is that when it comes to policing and when it comes to facts, he doesn't have to think twice. What happens is that off the bat. Anyway, guys, we need to pull back. Since we spoke to former Commissioner Griffith, we need to pull back and thank our friends, Berberine. And of course, we need to thank our good friends, True Value Home Mart. And of course, introducing WPC double-sided decking. And for those of you who have your outdoor patios and you're looking for something that would last you more or less a lifetime with no termite, because any termite that looks to bite on, there's something wrong with them. One is that it had to be a P&M termite, because the material that this is made from is hard. And then you get two different colors. You get walnut and ashwood. And of course, 300, I believe it's $90 per length. So you're good to go. I mean, you could buy, and it's 10-foot length, so you could buy a few pieces and fix up your deck, or you could even use it for your stairs or anywhere you see fit. All right, so you can give them a call, True Value Home Mart, and of course, they're right in somewhere there on Sikora Road, 638-3722 and 299-2780. As we move along, of course, I'd like to thank our good friends, Gate Automation Company Limited, for all your gate automated needs. And don't forget, they're the agents for Tow and Runner. And they would supply, install, service across the board. Give them a call, and they would be at your door before you know it. Let's go again. Automax Rust Remover. Remember, you could buy Automax 1 liter, 5 liter, drum, which is 55 liters or 55 gallons, right? Give them a call and stay away from those expensive brands where you need to remove some rust. For example, where the Minister of National Security sits, there would be a lot of rust there because it is hardly used, so therefore it's rusting, right? So give them a call, and of course, they would be able to assist you in your needs with rust removal. And of course, our good friends at RPM Express Couriers. And remember, if you have any packages to bring from Miami, whether it is small, big, whether it is from clothing to electronics, you name it, call them on 224 4RPM or visit them online. Remember, you could get on board for free, rpmexpresscouriers.com. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue right here on Breaking Barriers. We'll be back.
No more games. You always break the table when you lose. Promise? 4110 Jigsaw. Watch it. Don't you dare. Ronix.
Welcome to the home of Pure Oxygen Spring Water. A breathtaking 1,000 feet above sea level, where the elements collide. In an area of outstanding natural beauty. This land, our land, embodies nature, and our methods respect it. We use clean energy, solar, hydro, wind, to bring you the cleanest water. Every drop, sustainably sourced from pristine Cornish farmland. From the raw beauty of rainfall to our state-of-the-art bottling facility, situated on an ancient underground lake. We're reminded of the timeless power of pure water. But it doesn't stop here. The secret of cure lies in the pure oxygen we so carefully infuse. To breathe life into every bottle of pure water, without chemicals or additives. Cure pushes the boundaries of what water can do, uniting life's most essential ingredients: water and oxygen. The next generation of hydration. Pure oxygen, nature's ultimate water.
Introducing Berberine Plus by Aja Nutrition, a unique combination of all-natural super supplements berberine, bitter melon, and barnaba leaf. Berberine Plus is clinically proven to provide diabetic support by decreasing insulin resistance, making the blood sugar-lowering hormone insulin more effective, increasing glycolysis, helping the body break down sugars inside cells, decreasing sugar production in the liver, slowing the breakdown of carbohydrates in the gut. Available in TNT pharmacies nationwide.
Mitsu Air Limited, authorized Mitsubishi air conditioning dealer. No need to replace your air conditioning units ever so often. Split units, cassette, ductable, CTVIF systems, and much more. Mitsubishi Electric has long been powering industries and providing solutions for healthy living. Mitsu Air Limited boasts the industry's first 10-year warranty on all parts and labor. Inverter units are also available. Don't hear it, just feel it. Mitsu Air Limited, 246 Eastern Main Road, Barataria. Give us a call at 674-4000 or 675-4000 or email us at mitsu.limited@gmail.com.
And welcome back, my friends. And of course, this segment brought to you courtesy our good friends of Mitsu Air. And I had the pleasure of Mitsu Air coming in to do a service for me today. And of course, I must tell you that those guys were thorough. They must have spent at least about an hour servicing my units. Normally, you don't get that. Normally, fellas come in and 10 minutes time, they're gone. Every single part was taken out and professionally cleaned and sanitized. And I would like to thank them for that. Besides having the best unit in the country, which is Mitsu Air Limited, which is Mitsubishi Electric, they provide you with exceptional service. And when you talk about Mitsubishi Electric in Japan and other first world countries, these units run for years without issue. And once you stick and you're getting the service from this company, you're good to go basically. So give them a call, and remember, all units are inverter units, so you save big on your electricity bill. All right, guys, let's run through our slides. All right. When I saw this, that 5 centers for children with disabilities to close down, I automatically said to myself that only the PNM could be so diseased. Only the PNM could be so sick and so despicable that they would want to close down centers or not fund centers for children with cerebral palsy or who have disabilities affecting them in whatever areas. And I am telling those mothers and fathers and everybody who are outside there and have children with disabilities that if you need me to help stand up for you and your children, let me know. Because things like this should not be happening. You see, If Rowley had a child with disability, this would not be happening. If members of government, and as far as I know, none of them do, have children with disabilities or cerebral palsy, this would not be happening. But your child is nothing. Your child is worthless. Your child does not deserve to be treated a certain way. So therefore, at the end of the day, your child is discarded. So for those of you who have children, and children who use these centers, and who are deserving of assistance, because many of these parents are parents who cannot afford the necessary care to help take care of their children, let me know, and I will try to see how best I can help you out. Let's go again, guys. Oh, God. Huh. Oh, God. I don't know now. I don't know now. According to Fitzgerald Ethelbert Hines, we will fight like hell to protect the people from the criminals. So said National Security Minister Hines in his contribution in the budget debate yesterday. You know, come back to me, guys. We have to be real stupid to actually take on these fellas, you know. This man has been the National Security Minister since 2021, and we have only had massive increases in everything. He has done nothing. And here's what he's saying. Put that back again, boy. Let me see what he's saying there. That we will fight like hell. Saying that it pained him, as it did the rest of the nation, to see the video of a woman being dragged by criminals. This man have to be a special gadaha. Not just a regular gadaha. He has to be a special gadaha. Why I'm saying that? Because here what's happening, there have been bodies of women all over the street. There have been bodies of children bleeding and fertilizing the soil of this land. But you ain't open your trap and say anything about you have been pained. But a foreigner, and we empathize with the woman, a foreigner gets robbed and gets dragged on the ground, and you were pained. The only reason you were pained is because it was a foreigner, and it was an international embarrassment to you and your government, and that is why you decided to open your trap. That is the only reason you decided to bump your gum Hines. The only reason. Let's go again. No, not that. We're going back to Hines. I want to apologize to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, those who have lost their ones, those persons who are traumatized by some of our citizens and perhaps others in home invasions. Apologize for what? Do this country a favor and leave. Get out of here. Scram. Vamos. We do not want you as a Minister of National Security. You are an embarrassment as a Minister of National Security. You are a failure. You are a buffoon as a Minister of National Security. Get out. What you apologizing for? There is no need for apologies. Go, leave, dust it, blaze trail. We don't want to hear no apology from you, boy. None. What we want to hear is to get up tomorrow morning and you say without more than 10 words, because anytime you start to talk, you don't know when to shut your mouth. There have been times when you start to talk and you go on and on and on ad nauseum, and everybody around just getting sick. Because we cannot take you on again. We don't want to hear you, boy. Much less see you. You are a failure as Minister of National Security. Do yourself a favor. Do your family a favor. Do the PNM a favor. Do the Caribbean a favor. Just leave. really cannot understand. You know, somebody who is failing at a job, especially one as important as this, where your incompetence is being drawn to you every single day, and yet it is, you are so proud of your failure that you don't want to get up and leave. Why? Because the other one have confidence in you. The other failure have confidence in you. He wants you there. So that is why you're there. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. That Keith Christopher Rowley, because of you and your personal issues with Gary Griffith, we are where we are today because you have put two failures, Erla and the National Security Minister, where they are today. And you refuse to remove them. So I'm asking the question tonight. Do you like the crime the way it is, partner? Because you're the one that actually made the decisions that have us in this position. Let's go again, guys. Yep. That was the headline. Heinz hurt. And of course, on the bottom, we have Munilal versus Rowley, where Munilal is alleging certain things, certain statements that Rowley made, etc., and defamed him. What I want you to take note of is take note of the attorneys representing Keith Rowley. And I'll remind you of those attorneys in December. I'll remind you of those attorneys coming up in December. Watch the attorneys representing Keith Rowley, and I will remind you about those attorneys. I'll leave that right there. Let's go again. The same woman who was dragged said that she's not coming back to Trinidad and Tobago. She was left shaken after being robbed of $170,000 on Queen Street. Says the country is now a crime haven. Shoppers, vendors, businesses in fear. But you see, again, that is PNM supporters, Robin Shee. And that is, because this is who the PNM protects. The criminals, hear what happening? The criminals thrive when PNM in power. In fact, the criminals will continue to vote PNM because when PNM in power, they succeed the most. They make the most profit. They enjoy the most crime. Because under the PNM, they are the ones that support criminals the most. And that is a fact. Let me just welcome Cure Oxygen Water. And if you do not have your case of Cure Water in your home, you're not taking care of your health, especially if you have mommy and daddy there, especially if they are over 50 and need that oxygen in their system. As I said before, the price you are paying for this, the same price you're paying for some other drink that could affect your health. Make sure that you have your cases of Cure because stocks are limited now. Call 375-1100, 299-6263 or 292-1913 and order, and they will deliver it free of charge to your home. Or you could go online at Shop SMJ and, of course, make your necessary orders there. Plus, you can get not only Cure Oxygen Water, but other products as well. Let's go again, guys. Heinz Knox, former commissioner for ammo imports. Look at where we're going here. He wouldn't hear what happening. Why you don't knock him for solving crime, boy? Why you don't knock him for causing confidence in the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, boy? But you going to knock him because he bring in plenty ammo. And who is it? Wait. Who is it? Under whose tenure the ammo is being used by criminals and you're finding the ammo all over the place when people get murdered? Under whose tenure that is happening? Is it under Gary Griffith tenure? Is it under your tenure? That when you see people murdered, you hear and you see in the media that the ammunition used belongs to the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service or to the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force. We have men inside there selling ammunition and all they don't have no control over it. None. Turning a blind eye. Now take a look at this cash that was seized. Take a look. Watch it here. Nice police headquarters. No, not for what I've seen. Watch. Alexander and his team. Now, you know where's the hardest way? You know where's the hardest? The police feeling proud to display all that weaponry, all that firepower. And the police and some people in customs are responsible for that ending up in the country. The police should be ashamed, because that is not even 0.0001% of the arms and ammunition we have in this country. That is just probably under one house. And you have thousands of houses where they have worse. So I don't see where's the big brouhaha about. Let's go again, guys. Take a look at this. In case all you have seen it, because that thing on the left blocking all you, zoom in, guys. It cost the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development $16,000 per household for garbage collection across the country. $16,000 per household, which means that for every home, it's over $500 per day. Explain that to me. Explain that to me. Because if you have a whole area with 200 people, how much money is being made? Now, let me tell you something. There are companies like the one that has serviced bamboo. They does real work. And then have a next company, M&N. I think it's M&N. They does real work. Right? Those are two companies that I know that perform. But when you could tell me $16,000 a month for garbage collection, something is definitely wrong. Something does not make sense, and somebody needs to break a jail. Right? Because I think the Attorney General needs to use extra care when he's checking out these things, because something is not adding up. How could he tell me that it costs $16,000 per household? So we spending billions of dollars in garbage collection? Billions of dollars? Nah, man. Nah. It's the same people that are dealing with the ladder out. And in case you came in late and you're joining me late, I wanted to show you one more time, because somebody asked me to show it again, the letter from the fire services showing the cost of 20 wooden ladders. Let's show that quote, please. There we go. And it's not a quote. This is actually ladders. And there it is, item number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Item number 6, cost of firefighting equipment. 20 double extension wooden ladders, $999,000. Each ladder costs $50,000, and this is the crookery, this is the fraud, this is the corruption that exists in the fire services, and somebody needs to break a jail, because that is madness. That is absolute madness. Come back to me, guys. All right, so what I'm going to do, we're going to open up the phone line and let us hear from you. What are your thoughts, based on everything that was said tonight? Also, we have a few slides that we need to run through again, guys. Let's run through. Yeah, let's take a look at that. Imagine a student being robbed. What a thing. Check this out. Look, these two rats, those two cockroaches there. Right? Watch them now, man. Mommy best children. I don't know why a car didn't run over their tail there one time. Right? Because at the end of the day, that's the best they could be of benefit to society. Now check this out. Innocent schoolboys passing, watch. Pull in front of them. What's the other one? And you realize like one of them blocking him up the road from passing. Well, he gone one time, watch, he blazed trail. Watch this. Small schoolboy, don't have nothing on his phone he take out, you know. And this is the rats. This is the pests in society. And this is what imagine school children have to go through. I ain't making it when they run across the road on the other side. I tell you, a truck should have licked them up one time. Because that is what criminals deserve in this country. You can't pray and say, well, boy, God bless them and give them health and strength for what? To go and rob more people again? Let's go again, guys. Imagine man walking with gun in a hand in Port of Spain like normal. Like normal. This is our normal thing. And this is the city. And like they say, affecting nobody. Let's go again, guys. Every single day, we are reading about residents frustrated all over. And I said it before, that the same people who had corruption leveled at them in Wassa are now benefiting big from Wassa. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Well, I'm going to tell you, I always say that one of the things that I will never do, I will never tarnish my father's name. And if I were to be put in a position of leadership, like say for example, Wassa, and I know about the corruption because I used to talk about the corruption before, and I go into that position, and I sit by and watch what is going on, support what is going on, sign off on what is going on, I will be ashamed to the Ishmael name. I would prefer to step down and save my father's name. But that is just me. That is just me. That is just me. Unfortunately, when the Balizé juice get into some people's blood, I don't know what does go on with them. Everything else, out the door. Shame. What a bloody shame. An embarrassment to say the least. But let's go to our lines. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, please. You're live.
Mr. Inshan?
Yes?
I did look at your program. I'm calling from Tunapuna.
Yes, ma'am.
You're doing a very good job. You're a very good person. You're helping people plenty. Mr. Inshan, God bless you.
Thank you so much, my dear.
God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you. Greatly appreciated. And how are you? You okay health-wise and you okay? Okay, she's gone. All right, yeah, let's run to the other slide, guys. Right. Extortion victim in hiding, terrified he could be killed. Same thing we talk about. And it has entered bamboo number 2, where 3 persons have been extorted. Right? And nothing is going to be resolved. Right? Let's go back to our lines again. Hello? Hello?
Good evening, Inshan.
Good evening.
You really want to know why Hines is still there? if they move Hines, all the attention, well, a lot goes to him, goes to the Prime Minister. But if Hines is not there for people to talk about and lambaste every day, they're going to talk about the Prime Minister. So maybe that's why he's still there. Okay, goodbye.
That song's, thank you, that song's pretty reasonable. And I will accept that as a reason because, quite frankly, it makes sense. Let's go back to our lines again. Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Yes, go ahead. Good evening.
Good evening, Ishmael.
Good evening, my friend.
Why do you think we're walking with gun and Porostin and the about the Farah on top? Like the Farah, like the brother on top, so they could do that. The only place. Notice that the other power is going to be going on most.
Yeah, well, exactly. What happens is that they are living right around the area and they could do what they want.
Yeah, the father on top by the father, like the brother, and then that way they say, be careful, take care of the criminals, don't rough them up. Like the own, like the brothers.
I don't know where we are going. Thank you very much, caller. The sad reality is to watch a young child, and not only that, a father contacted me and said his daughter was in the back seat while that nude person laid on the highway in traffic. Imagine the trauma on that child's psyche watching that. Watch it here. Of course, I blurred it a lot because I always have the idiots to deal with. You know what I mean? So imagine this body on the road, right? And of course, I mean, for me, there's no graphic warning there because, quite frankly, 90% of the image blocked off, so there's nothing really graphic to see. But this is what many people saw, where the pants or whatever was down to the, and nobody could explain what that body was doing there. Let's go again, guys. Hello?
Tell him now. Tell him for me if you don't want me, hold on. Tell him talk about the property tax next week.
Talk about what?
The property tax, boy.
No, well, what happens is that the property tax is only for me and you. It is not for the big Sawati and them. It is not for the government ministers.
This property tax is poor people, boy.
No, but it is not for the commercial businesses, the multi-billionaires, the men who ripping off this country blind, the contractors and them who have big Sawati thing. It is not for them, it's for we. I agree. That is exactly, you know, when I found out that it was for only residential and not commercial property, I am going to turn my property into a commercial property. I live in my warehouse from today. You understand? From today, my residence will be my warehouse. So therefore, no property tax applies by me. Let's go again. Hello, and no rent here, no property tax on rental properties. So which means that Faris, when I say rental properties, government rental, what rent he pay, what tax he paying on that? Let's go, let's run through our other slides again, guys. Oh yeah. Check this out, All citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, if you live in close proximity to a steel ban, if you have some options. One, move out. You know, this is the type of idiots. Imagine this is what he will say. You know, I wonder if these people, families have family who's sick. So you're telling somebody who has cancer, somebody who has an ailment, somebody who's elderly, that all you will put a steel pan in a residential area, and if you have a problem, move out. Boy, you can't be that stupid, boy. All you really can't be that stupid. All you had to be eating more than dotish biscuit. Let's go to our lines again. Hello?
Yes, good night, Vincent.
Yes, good night, my friend.
Yes, I just want to mention two things. One, the reason why Rolly would not fire Hines, because misery loves company.
and that is fact.
And two,
yeah, hello? Hello? Okay, TSTT doing you an injustice. That's now. Hello? Okay, caller, I'm sorry that we lost your call. All right, guys, let's run through the rest of slides that we have to run through. Oh, yeah. Donna Cox, Cops probing PP card grant program, where they say that some of the cards which were loaded with 500 had up to 30,000 on it, some of them. But Donna Cox is not telling you about the other side of things. Could we get the other slide? Right, the other side of things. Under her tenure, which is on the 17th of the 5th, the Auditor General report finds a whole set of fraud, including 27-year-olds who were receiving pension payouts. Why Donna Cox don't talk about that? And the millions of dollars in questionable activities under that ministry that the Auditor General had pointed out. Let's go again. Hello? Hello?
A very good evening and assalamu alaikum, Brother Inshan.
Wa alaikum assalam. Good evening to you, sir.
So, I have been looking at news as a little boy since the days when Yasser Arafat was the president of Palestine.
Yes.
And since then, and I agree with everything you said this evening. As a matter of fact, I have been saying this all week. These people, the Israelis, have been treating these people worse than dogs.
That's correct. Absolutely.
They have harassing, look at Al-Aqsa Mosque, during the holy month of Ramadan, as you rightfully said, they're running inside there with the boots and everything, disrespected and desecrated the place.
That's correct.
And they are calling these people barbaric and terrorists. Israel is guilty of the same thing. These poor people is only defending themselves.
Correct. Absolutely
The rest of the world, you see, they're condemning what the people doing for defending the land. When Russia invaded Ukraine, the whole world vexed them. But Israel is doing the same thing with Palestine.
And Russia,
I agree with you.
And Russia only did what they did recently. Palestine going through this for over 50 years now, 60, 70 years now, where children are murdered, where pregnant women are slaughtered like animals on the streets. And this is not something that I'm making up or something that we don't have proof of. We have seen the videos time and time again where bombs are falling on children's heads, but the media would not cover it simply because the media toes a particular line.
It's so correct. But the way things are going in Trinidad right now, I feel I would probably be safer in Palestine. All the best.
Thank you very much, my friend. I mean, we are living on our own little Palestine here. And I have said it before and I'll say it again. For me, I am not one of those to encourage war. And I just wish that Israel and Palestine could find some way to sit down and just iron things out. But under that madman, that sicko called Benjamin Netanyahu, right? That is like the devil himself. And he and Modi is like brother and sister. I wouldn't say which one is his sister. Let's go again. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, hello?
Yes, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. First thing I would like to say, Gary Griffith, ex-commissioner Gary Griffith, he failed to realize that the same people he promoted to the higher ranks of superintendent and senior superintendent are the same people who cut his throat.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. Yeah, there are same people backstab him and thing and bring back message and thing back to the national security minister and thing and cut his throat.
Yeah, because one is that they were corrupt to the core, so at the end of the day, they didn't like what was going on, so you're absolutely right.
Yes, I know that. Because my ex-wife was a police officer and realized that the same thing was going on and things, yes, sir. And they promote this Ola Christopher, right? And she wasn't any ground to say like moving around and things, yes, sir. See like Joan Archie.
Yes, Joan Archie, I like her too bad.
Right? As my wife said, she was looking forward she was to be commissioner of police. If you wanna put a woman police.
Yes, correct. I agree. I agree totally.
Joan Archie.
Yes.
Right, because this woman don't know any police work and thing at all.
I wouldn't be surprised if they took her from the fire services, you know.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
But I like it to think in the air to know that that what I just said.
Thank you. And I agree with you 100% because what happened is that I had actually told former Commissioner Griffith about the same exact sentiments because a senior officer had contacted me and said his own men are wronging seniors, busting his throat. And that was something that I had spoken to Gary about because at the end of the day, you know, I was asked on several occasions to assist where police vehicles is concerned, to give an assessment of what type of vehicles to buy and all that drama. Because it's over 30 years I have in this industry. Let's run through the other slide, guys. Check this out, Convinced that not enough is being done to find his missing wife, Englishman Kelvin Adset is now offering 20,000 reward for information leading to her. Imagine that, And that is in the UK too as well. So imagine this man is highlighting the fact that the police service sleeping, where his wife's kidnapping and abduction is probably concerned. This is what people have to go through. You don't even know where your family is. Let's go back to the lines again. Hello. We'll take this last call, guys. Hello.
Yeah, good night, Inchan.
Good evening.
Inchan, I want people to understand that that's battle going on up in the Middle East there. It's two cousins, Inchan. It's cousins fighting there, you know. Two brother children. Because Abraham, two sons, with Ishmael, which the Muslims on that side in Palestine, and then the Jews was on Isaac. Isaac came from, that was Abraham, two children, Isaac and Ishmael, and they are first cousins. So I don't know what all the fighting is about. Father Abraham, peace be upon him, will be ruling in his grave.
No, well, Israel believes that Palestine is their God-given property, that it belongs to them. And even if people occupying it, I shouldn't say occupying it, these people are residents and citizens of Palestine because Palestine was there even long before Israel. And they believe that God, right, write a letter and tell them, here what happened, breads. That is all they want. So that is their belief. And the reality of it is that under any circumstances, they don't care who they have to kill, who they have to murder, who they have to slaughter like animals to get that land. They're going to do it. And we are seeing that it is happening. Now, again, people have this impression that all Jews are bad people. All Israelis are bad persons. Let me explain something to you. There are Israelis right now who are against what is taking place against the Palestinians, and they have protested against it as well. There are Jews in New York, the Orthodox Jews, who are standing up against the nonsense that is taking place. But you see, when you have people who are mad and something wrong with them mentally and believe that that land, no matter who own it, God say that is we want, and we're going to get it no matter what, and we care who we have to kill. That is where the problem comes in, and that is what is going on right now, and that is the mentality of those people who killing the innocent Palestinians. And as I said before, those people who feel offended by what I've just said, hard luck, because it's the plain truth. And you wouldn't hear it from many of my leaders from the Muslim community, because at the end of the day, I myself want to know the reason why not. All right, so this is where we have to end it off, folks, and I would like to thank you so much for being in tune here. And of course, Bamboo, God willing, we had a meeting this evening, and basically a lot was discussed and a lot was achieved. And what we're going to do is that, we'll run through those now. We're going to put barriers in place, and Bamboo will be monitored 24 hours now because of this dotishness, right? Because of the stupidity of some idiot that their mother and father did not hit them some hard clout when they was young to straighten them out. Let's run through those slides, guys. Right, this is what I'd spoken about here, where farmers blame state contracts. So government has to blame for what is going on right now. And this is what I tell you, the PNM is responsible for all the extortion, for all the criminal activity, PNM funded. And who ain't know that's something wrong? Let's go again, guys. Slide. All right, this is just to advise you, right? Remember, we had raised $285,000 for Andy, and $145,000 was raised directly to his account through this program, right? Because apparently he does not understand that the money he got in his account that people send directly was because of this program too as well. This was something that he put up almost 3 weeks ago, where he stated that he was going in there in 1 week, right? He was supposed to go in there this week, right? And he has not gone. And he told me that he has some tests to do locally before he goes abroad. Now, I am making it abundantly clear, right, on my program, because this is the same program that raised funds for the gentleman, right, that if Mr. Rizal does not provide medical records, a plane ticket, a visa within the next week, right, or proof that he's going away to get his surgery done, we are going to ask for return of 100% of the funds, and we will give it to those who we know I need for surgery. Children who I need, we will split it in 10 and we will give it to children who I need. Those of you who agree, just send me a WhatsApp message. Those of you who say, nah boy, I want a refund, we will get that money back from him. Right? Because this thing has been going on and on and on and on, and it's one story after the other. So time to put this to rest now. Right? So again, he was supposed to travel this week. All of a sudden, travel arrangements put on hold, and we need to get certain things organized, and I'm hoping for his sake that within the next week that everything is put in place, because the tests that he has done, within a day or two, those results should be forthcoming. All right, so let us see where it goes someday. And I'm serious like a heart attack that if I'm not satisfied with what I'm seeing or hearing, we are going to demand every single cent be returned to us, no ifs, ands, or buts. And we will give it to somebody, several people who are deserving. All right, so my dear friends, this is where, oh yeah, let's run the last slide. This is bamboo number 2. And this is the condition of the drain. And no rain fall for the last few days. And this drain is on standstill by Rattan Street. This is the engineering of the government of Trinidad and Tobago. And this is our drain, it is not a river. And this is halfway in bamboo number 2. And this is the type of incompetence and stupidity that you get from the government when they do these projects. Right? And zoom into this vehicle, please. ACCL. Right? Zoom into that vehicle. This idiot decided that he will park on the road today. Not the fella. I don't know that fella. I don't think he's related to ACCL. But the vehicle ACCL, the idiot who parked it there, if this is your company, your driver was driving like a yayan today. Right? And of course, the name of this truck suits where this driver parked. Right? It is very suitable. Right? Because quite frankly, it really reflects the driver who driving this truck. TCK 9148, park up like a yayan. All right. So this is where we have to end it off. God bless you, and I look forward to seeing you lineman with the family this weekend at Baraka Grounds. Come down where it's safe, where it's bandit proof, and if they come there, we're ready and waiting for them. All right, so God bless you folks. Have a good one, and this weekend come down and get some fresh sub or some tacos. Check across by Tandoori Hut and get some Chinese food and Hakka. Or you could go across the Crunchy Corner and get Tex-Mex. Or you could visit Soups and Sub for some nice cow heel beef corn or chicken soup or fish broth. Or you could check them out for some fantastic fresh subs. And of course, don't forget, Brilliant. Right? That's my place there where you could come down and I could get your money to buy things that I need in life. Things like a nice cell phone, tires from a vehicle. And of course, I will thank you for everything that I get because I'm in jacket hunting. I have a wedding to go to in December, so I need to buy a new jacket. So therefore, you need to come down there and fund my jacket. I know she meant. Okay. All right, good. This is where we have to end it off, folks. God bless you. Take care. And I'll catch you next week for Breaking Barriers. All right? Let me just say a special assalamu alaikum and good evening to Uncle Patos, who I understand is a bit under the weather tonight. All the best to you, Uncle Patos, and I'm looking forward to seeing you sometime this weekend. Take care. Inshallah, all the best. Assalamu alaikum and good evening.